Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Braxton, and I'm back. And I got a bit of an update for y'all today. A lot has changed. I just want to give y'all a quick rundown of what I have going on. So, as y'all can see, we got us a new whip here that we'll talk about in a minute. That's a 2023 Hyundai Elantra N. But let's focus here on my K-swap Civic for a minute. So, the last bit of videos I posted have all been about my K-swap Civic. I've been building it and I finally got it together, dialed the line, and it's running flawlessly. It's honestly a great car, and soon I'll be doing a review up on this. But for those that don't know, this is my 1994 EG Civic. I got this car from Germany. I put a K-swap in it. I'm gonna pop the hood for you in a moment, but the car has full suspension underneath, has a Integra Type R OEM big brake kit. Interior wise, just some aftermarket seats, something a little bit more supportive, and a hybrid racing short shifter. No cut though, because don't want to be cutting up this car too much. I'll get the hood pop for y'all, but what we have here is a K20A2. Full bolt-ons pretty much, makes 212 wheel horsepower, 128 foot-pounds of torque, goes to a 6-speed K-Series transmission, 4.7 final drive, Wavetrack LSD. The car is phenomenal. It sits on KWV3 coilovers at the heart of the suspension and just gone through all the rubber bushings underneath. The car runs flawlessly, has power steering, no AC unfortunately. I don't think I'll be adding AC to this car, but it's still hard to believe that I own this car and I built it with my own two hands. Moving on, my 2023 Hyundai Elantra N. This car is the replacement for my trusty GX470 that's no longer sitting by my trailer that I had. My GX470 served as my daily driver, my tow vehicle, but it got shitty gas mileage. It was a little bit up in age and I couldn't justify having 3 cars, but I told myself, since I turned 28 this year, wanted to do something nice and I wanted to experience something a bit more luxurious, but this car is designed to wear so many hats and I want to explain it. It's first going to be my daily driver. 1, it gets great gas mileage, which I love. Number 2, it's going to be my fun car as well, my day-to-day fun car, because when I go through it, you guys will see. Number 3, it's going to also operate, I think, as my primary track car, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But this 2023 Elantra N, for those of y'all don't know, the N is Hyundai's performance division, okay? The Hyundai Elantra N is pretty pulverizing. It's based on the base of Elantra, but they have actually added so many things. You guys might have seen this, and if you're clicking on this video, it's probably because you are looking for a 2023 Elantra yourself. The styling is pulverizing, to say the least. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do like it. Looks are subjective, so you can make your own opinion on that. You don't need me to tell you, but I've enjoyed this car so much. This is my first new car, and I'm blown away by where Hyundai has come. All I've done so far is got a PPF installed on the front to protect it from rock chips. Got the full hood, full front, and then like the rock guards, and a little bit of tint. Some legal tint that ain't gonna get me pulled over. Wheels. These are some big old 19-inch OEM wheels, but they have Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. Nice, grippy 300 treadwell tires that people love on the street. Let me show you guys the interior. The interior is perhaps one of my favorite parts of the car because you have these very BMW-like seats. And honestly, the whole car reminds me of a BMW M car, and that's no coincidence because the head guy that was head of BMW for some years, Albert Bierman, he's credited as being responsible for some of the greatest M cars to come out of BMW in their glory days. Hyundai actually brought him over to run their N division, and this car, its tuning, the way it drives, it's all because of them. And honestly, this car, it's a bit of a baby M car, in my opinion, like a front-wheel drive M car. Looking in the interior, we got some nice suede inside of here. Love the seats. The N logo also lights up, which I think is very BMW-esque. If you notice, there's no manual here. That's because this is the 8-speed wet dual clutch transmission. which I'll touch on a bit when we get underneath the hood. But this is the car right here. It has this beautiful steering wheel that's the perfect thickness and the perfect circumference. It's not too big. It fits well in your hand, just like all those classic BMW M steering wheels. The interior, while not the most high grade thing, especially not Civic Type R, nice FL5, but it has some nice suede through here. There are some treat plastics and some gloss blacks that get dusty and get fingerprints pretty easy, but past that, like, man, it's a pretty nice interior. I also like the ambient lighting that comes with it. I'll go ahead and start it right quick. So one thing I love about this car is the actual adjustability. So this vehicle, a lot like an M car, you're able to adjust so many things. You can adjust the steering feel, the ELSD in the way it acts, the electronic stability control, suspension, transmission tuning, the exhaust sound. So it's really impressive how much customability is put inside here. One of the things I love also, I touched on the seats, but they're just so supportive and you feel really like you're just, like they hold you so well. I can definitely see how this is going to be such a blast on track. Your seating position is so great. You sit nice and low. I'm just so impressed that what they did with this coming from a base Elantra. Has many different drive modes along with your custom modes. The stock exhaust is crazy for a 4-cylinder. Like, just listen. That's stock. At stock, it sounds so good, but at a push of a button, right? I put it back in eco mode. Now listen. Way quieter, way more subdued, and that's what I want on my daily drive. I love the duality of this car, how I can be on the highway up in eco mode just cruising, but at a moment press sports mode or go into N mode and like attack an off ramp like nobody's business. This thing actually rotates, believe it or not, but it gets great gas mileage. I'm averaging 28.2 miles per gallon, and I've seen up to 35 miles per gallon on the highway. So this car, it really does it all, and it can change personalities at the push of a button. Like, it's almost like it has bipolar disorder, because it can be two totally different cars depending on what mode you're in. And I love that about modern vehicles. But let's check out the drivetrain. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off so we ain't too loud, but the drivetrain, it's what you'll find in a lot of front-wheel drive performance cars. These days, we have a 2.0 liter four-cylinder turbo. It's direct injected. The engine, it has a decent amount of character. It has a bigger turbo than a lot of other of these small fours, so it doesn't make that much low-end torque, but the turbo is a little bit laggy. It takes time to spool, and it adds to the drama and emotion of driving this car. It makes 276 horsepower and 289 foot-pounds of torque, but it has an overboost button that can add 10 horsepower for 20 seconds at a time. It has the 8-speed dual clutch transmission that is, oh my God, it's such a good transmission. I've never been the automatic guy, but this dual clutch is so good, and like I said, this is my daily driver, so I didn't want that manual driving experience, because I already have that with my Civic. This is about as raw as it gets, right? But this, I wanted to be able to drive it in traffic, drive it up on longer drives, all those things. And with the actual dual clutch transmission, it can change personalities. The dual clutch is so intuitive, it's so smart, and when you're driving it hard, it does such a good job at giving you the right gear at the right time. And you know, if you're driving it in manual mode, it actually shifts with a lot of oomph behind it. It's actually pretty crazy. If you've never driven a dual clutch performance car, I can't, like, you gotta experience it for yourself. You have to experience it for yourself. Hyundai has a 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty if you buy the car new, which that's one of the things that influenced me to actually buy this car new instead of going and buy a certified pre-owned one for a bit less money. This car was new, is $35,400. I got it for MSRP, and I think I got a good deal up on it. Out the door with taxes, Virginia taxes, all that tax title. You know how it goes. It was about $37,000. I think for what you get, this is an insane amount of car. as I was saying, Hyundai does offer that 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and they also cover the vehicle being on track as long as it's not in a competitive event, so you're not wheel-to-wheel racing, something like that. But for HPDEs, which I will be using this car for, it's perfect. And I would like to keep this car for 10 years to take full advantage of that warranty, or at least into 100,000 miles. But you know, we'll see. Right now though, that's the plan. I will have a full review of my thoughts of this car coming up, so make sure that you consider subscribing. I'm going to have a full review of my Civic coming up as well, because that's long overdue. And then also, I'm going to race both of these cars to see which one is quicker, because I'm curious. K-Swap Civic versus Hyundai Elantra N should be a good race. Ooh, excuse me. But that's going to be all for this video. I'm going to go ahead and close it out here. I hope you guys enjoyed catching up for a little bit. If you have any questions about the car, put them up in the comments. I'm quick to answer. I get my YouTube notifications like text messages, so I usually respond fairly quickly if I do see them. So that's all I got for you guys. Take it easy though. I'm out.